Hi, everyone, and welcome to Women of a Particular Age podcast, where we discuss women's views, life lessons, and a little bit of sugar, honey, iced tea. My friend Heather, I've missed you. How are you doing, friend?
Hi, Tara. I missed you too. I'm doing good. Good. We've had the long weekend and it's coming to
Right,
an end today. But
right, right, right,
it's been good. It's been good. Love the extra day. How are you
right.
doing today?
Oh man, listen, I've been trying to take a nap, getting over my little short little vacation special event out of town.
Yes.
But now that I'm
Right.
back, I'm ready to get back to potting. I was getting a little lazy. So it's time for us to get going on this.
That's
Okay.
right.
So listen, y'all, listen, before we get started, please like, share, and subscribe. JollyStudios@gmail.com, www.jollystudios.com, and at Heather Mola. We're going to do a little bit more talking about Heather Mola, but let's go ahead and let's get started, and then we'll come back to Heather. Hold on. Come back with us, okay? Hold on. Great. I'm glad you guys stayed with us. So listen, before we get started, what do we do, Heather? What's the first thing we do before we get started?
Let's see.
And folks, look at me and Heather. We got our nice little mugs. I wish you could see up close. Heather has her name, I
Mhm.
have mine, and we have our initials on there. They're so
Mhm.
cute. Ooh, we got
Very
little
cute.
tops on them.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh.
Ah.
All right,
It
let's
is cute.
toast, friend.
All
Let's
right,
toast.
cheers. Cheers.
Mm.
All right.
All right, so friend, listen, before we get started, let's talk about you. Let's let everybody know what you've done this weekend as far as your business and what you've launched. Let's talk about
Oh,
that really quick.
oh, thank you. Yeah, so real quick, a lot has happened this weekend. I launched
Uh-huh.
my paparazzi website. I'm up and
Awesome.
running and ready to go. So I did put out in social media, Facebook and Instagram and
Mhm.
TikTok. I did put out an announcement out there. I'm
Okay.
waiting. I have to get 1,000 followers to do a TikTok live. So I'm working on
Right.
getting followers. I
Right.
definitely want to
Right.
do that. And the other thing I had told you, Tara, was about doing marketplace selling, like at the local malls.
Right.
They do like,
Right.
3-day weekends. You can do 1, 2, or 3 days, and that's in person. So that I'm going to be focusing on that as well, and in person. So that's going to be coming. I don't know. I'm going to try to see if I can do at least one in June, but for sure in July, and it'll be in my hometown. And I'm going to expand out to all the other cities, as well, nearby
Right.
malls.
You're on
So
the
I'm
road,
excited.
friend. You're getting it going.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right, you're getting it going. I'm so
I
excited. I
am.
can't wait. I can't wait to see you evolve.
Thank you,
I'm so
friend. Thank you.
excited. Okay, so listen, so folks, we haven't seen you guys in about a week, and it's only been a week, okay? But it seems like it's been a long time.
It
All right, so
does.
let's get started. So listen, we wanted to make sure that we came to you with a new topic, but something that you guys knew that we knew something a little bit about. And that topic is bum bum bum
Mm.
intimacy.
Interesting. Ooh. Ooh la la.
Mm.
Ooh la la. Yeah.
All right.
Ooh.
All right. So first and foremost,
Yeah.
wanted to talk about the different aspects of intimacy that lead us into the bedroom. Because a lot of people think that intimacy is all of a sudden, you know, it's from it's from sitting down on the couch to jumping in the bed. And it's a little bit more than
Mm.
that. So let's talk about the little different subjects under the sub subjects under intimacy. So the first one is emotional intimacy. And some of the subjects under that is deep emotional connection with others, vulnerability and openness, trust and mutual understanding. When I hear that, to me that sounds more like having connections. And of course, I feel like within the connections, that would mean more of having more of conversational type of
Right.
intimacy. Okay, meaning
Yes.
being able to talk with one another, to really listen to one another. What do you think, friend? How does it
Well,
sound to you?
the talking and communication is really important in relationships, especially when we're talking about long-term
Right,
relationships, right? And so it's not just when we're talking about speaking, it's also
right,
making the emotions that come with that
right,
conversation, because that's what
right,
really builds the intimacy, because really anybody can talk to anybody, but to
right,
get intimate with someone is really on a personal level, and
right.
getting
So that trust comes
putting
in.
yourself, your emotions out there,
Right,
and right. And so that's what creates that extra layer of intimacy, because it's just not conversation, it's above that. It's like
right,
just really connecting on a deeper emotional level. And so I
right,
think that's really definitely important.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Mhm.
right. I think that sometimes we forget as people about how intimacy works. It's just not really one way. There's a lot of different ways of being intimate. Okay,
Yes.
which leads us into our next one, which is relationship intimacy, which is subtitled under that is building and maintaining strong relationships, communication and active listening, emotional support and validation. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people miss, which is active listening, not just always talking, but actually listening to your partner and not just hearing what they're telling you, what they're saying, and trying to relay to you. And you able to grasp that information, digest it, say, okay. Because I don't think that sometimes we as people always do that. I think we're good
Right.
at speaking, but not always listening. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do
I
you
think
think about
people,
that, friend?
well, I feel like in a relationship you have to be open to what the other person has to say, and
Mhm.
really validate their feelings, or what they're
Right,
saying to you.
right,
And if you're not sure you're making that connection, understanding is really asking questions,
right,
you know, asking
right,
questions, and just, I want to better understand exactly how you're feeling. I'm not quite getting it. What is it you need from me? Is it some support? Is it, whatever it is just really comfortable, being open and comfortable and trusting in that relationship to ask those hard questions. Sometimes they're easy questions, sometimes they're difficult questions.
oh gosh, you know it, right? You
and
know
and
it.
that's okay, and that's okay, because that's what intimacy is feeling like
Right,
you're okay to be able to ask that question, and I feel like, oh, I don't know if I should really do that, but if really
right,
honestly, if you want your relationship to grow and move forward, you have to put yourself out there,
right,
to share, and to be free to speak your feelings, and also allow the other person in the relationship to feel the same way, that they can come to you at any time and not feel like, oh gosh,
right,
if I say this, they're going to get mad, or this and
right.
that, you know, and
And building
and
trust, you
and
know.
building trust. Right, right. Mhm.
So I would say building trust. Okay, so now, folks, now we're getting to the one that everybody loves, okay, which is physical intimacy, which is physical touch and affection, sexual intimacy, connection, physical closeness and bonding. I'm about to say bondage, but that's a whole different show.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
for another
So,
podcast.
oh, that's for another pod. I'm sorry. Let me put that up there. Okay.
You got their
Bondage.
attention, Tara. You
Bondage.
got mine.
Um, I think that when we talk about physical intimacy, I don't think that people understand it's not always sexual. Of course, we love that and we want to get to that. But physical intimacy to me is a lot more than that. It could be the touch, it could be a kiss, it could be you holding hands, it could be you snuggling. It doesn't necessarily have to
Mhm.
be, I'll keep it clean, PG, penetration,
Right.
okay, in bondage. But it
Right.
could be, it could be, what do you think, Fred?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely, there's more to relationship, and especially like I'm saying, an established long-term relationship is no matter if you're in the beginning of a new relationship, if you're young, if you're older, if you're middle-aged, or you're a senior, okay?
Right,
The human being really connects with people with physical touch, when it
right,
comes to intimacy. And like you
right,
said, it's not just, about having a sexual encounter with your partner. It
right,
is hugs, kisses, like you said, walking hand in hand, hugging each other,
right.
like
A lot of people forget about those things.
they do. And so, like, one thing, like for me and my husband, every morning when we wake up, we say good morning and we kiss each other. Every
Right,
time if I leave the house or my husband leaves the house, we kiss each other, say goodbye. Okay, I'll see you a little bit later.
right,
And then we'll leave. When I come back home, I greet him, I give him a kiss, or he comes home. And the same thing at night before we go to bed, we say, good night, and we kiss each other.
right,
And I know, some people might go, oh, that seems like a lot, but that's how we are. We're affectionate that way, and that's just our style. Our thing is
right,
just it's just a nice little sweet way to connect with each other during the day and stuff like that.
right.
So
Just
just those
keeping
little
that love
things.
alive, girl. Keeping that
Yeah,
love alive.
exactly. And you know what? Or like if you're in the kitchen and so, and I'm there, Raymond might come behind me and give me a big squeeze and a big hug. Those things, I mean, they're special because it makes you feel, warm and fuzzy inside. You're like, oh,
Right.
So definitely, I think it's important, and we shouldn't forget the small things can be the big things, because the small things
Right.
are the small things you do every day, and you may
Right.
not have, depending who you are in your relationship, sex every day, and that's
Right. Right.
okay.
That
But
is.
you can keep your relationship fresh, and just so the other person knows that you love and you care about them,
Right.
and
Right.
those are the small things that at the end of the day become the big things, especially if you do it all, daily. I think it's important to
Right.
always recognize your other half, or your
Right.
better half. My
Right.
husband always says the
I
better
just
half.
think that we should just make sure that we understand that intimacy is not one way. It's
Right.
it's it's a bunch of ways to
And
be intimate and to
right.
have
And you
a
know what?
connection with your mate.
And everybody defines that a little differently. Like I said, I was
That's
just giving
right.
an example of what we do, and that could look very different for someone else, and that's okay
Yeah.
too. Whatever works in your relationship to bond and make you feel like you're intimate and you're part of that person's, life, and you matter.
Right. 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 Okay. All right. So let's switch gears and let's talk about the movie that me and Heather saw on Netflix, which is Nona's. All right, hold on, you guys. Let's get a
Nonas,
picture of
nonas.
them. What
Oh
a
wow.
wonderful
Oh
movie.
my gosh.
Heather, wasn't
I
this
love
a
it.
wonderful movie?
It was wonderful. Yes.
I thought this was a wonderful movie. Now, folks, this is on Netflix. This movie is an hour. Okay, it is an hour and 51 minutes. And let's put the description up of the movie. After losing his beloved mother, a man risked everything to honor her by opening an Italian restaurant with actual nonnas. Okay? Now, folks, when they say nonnas, they mean grandmothers. Okay? So basically, folks, this movie was based around a man who grew up with his mother and his grandmother, learned their recipes from scratch, ends up opening up a restaurant with other grandmothers. Okay. This movie, I think, was wonder pickle. I love this movie a lot.
Yes.
Man, I had so many tears in this movie. Now, I'm going to tell you what my favorite part of the movie was, and then Heather, you can tell me yours. I think my favorite part of the movie was when Vince Vaughn, which was Joey, when he opened up the envelope and found all those recipes, and especially the main recipe that he really wanted, which was the Sunday gravy. I thought that was the cutest part of the movie for me. Now, Heather, let them know what was the cutest part for you of the movie.
Well, there was a lot. There was a lot of cute moments in the movie, a lot of good parts. I guess the one that comes to my mind is one of the characters, which is played by Susan Sarandon.
Yes,
She's the vivacious,
yes,
redhead, and she ends up deciding to do a beauty day at her salon because she still had a salon. She was working there at the restaurant while it was up
right,
and running, and she brought all
right.
the Nonnas. And the funny thing is about the Nonnas, they all have their own personality
That's
and they
right.
had their own opinions. So they were like a little, snippy here and there, with each
Right.
other. But what I liked about this, they all got together and they all got glammed up and they looked so beautiful. And I
They were
just felt very
beautiful.
inspired, like women supporting women. And Susan,
Yes,
yes, women supporting women. And, just going from a regular Nona to a beauty Nona, and then they were all
right.
like, oh my gosh, we look so good. And they had drinks, they had shots, and they were like, and I just thought that was a very tender, very nice moment. But there was a lot of them in this movie. My
Yeah,
husband watched it with me as well, and he liked it. And I did have moments where I was like crying too. I had to get the tissue box there, but
yeah.
and
It
it's
was
a
really
true
sweet movie. Very
it's a
cute.
true
Really
story. It's a true story, and it's
That's right.
inspirational. And there's not a lot of movies sometimes out there that are like this, and this one really struck a chord with me. It really played on my heartstrings from start to finish, and it's a great family movie. And it was very well done. A lot of good actors, and I think
Hmm.
everybody will enjoy it. It's a really feel good movie.
And to take another swing at this movie, if we were to look at it, just imagine, Heather, if you think of it in these terms, just imagine what he did and what you're doing now, right?
Mhm.
Which is
Right,
which is him going out on a limb and
right.
starting something new. So that
Yes.
that to me was a part of the movie that I thought was wonderful as well, is that he
Yes.
trusted himself. He went out on a limb, spent all this money, and guess what? He took his time, he continued to believe, and guess
Yes.
what? He worked hard and things
Yes.
happened.
And
So
he had a
go
dream, right?
yes,
He
he
had
did.
this dream of how he wanted it to be. And he wanted it to
Right,
be a family restaurant with the
right.
Nonas that people would feel that comfort, not just from walking into the place, but the comfort of the
Mhm.
food and the
That's
people
right. The whole
and him
atmosphere.
and the Nonas, like if they were going to Sunday dinner at grandma's house,
That's right. That's
and
right.
I thought that was very heartfelt, and he really stuck to that, and the movie evolves from difficult times that we all go through, but you know what? At the end of the day, it all came together. All
Yes,
that
and it
blood,
was a really
sweat,
it
and
was a really
tears.
I thought it was a really, really good movie. So folks, listen, if you guys have a chance, please go and see it. It is on Netflix. It's called Nona's, and it's a really, really wonderful, wonderful movie. Okay?
Yes.
So
Hmm.
listen, we are going to get off of here, but before we do, folks, once again, please like, share, and subscribe. jollystudios at gmail.com, www.jollystudios.com. Oh, friend, I'm so glad to see you. I'm glad we're back on the airways again.
Me
Okay.
too.
I'm
Me
glad you
too.
got your website started. We're
Thank
getting
you.
going. You guys,
Yeah.
look at, I got some things coming. They're coming down the pike as well. And me and Heather will continue to reach out to you. We'll have our podcast, but we'll continue to let you know when new things are coming all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
So listen, we love you. Thank you so much for supporting us. And we'll see you next week. Have a
Thank you for
wonderful day.
visiting.
Bye.
Bye.